Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from the profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. He conquers the markets, he turns water into wine. His timing flows where chaos turns divine. Cut sharp enough to time the sign. Yeah, this man's no common trader. He commands the market's numbers. We call him Chef Bailey. The market bends beneath his flame. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from the profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. Markets move, they twist and swing. Every tick can burn or bring. Ryan keeps calm, he trusts his thing. The charts tell him everything. But when T1 makes ding, 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 the futures spread their hidden wing. And he is ready for anything. Vic's still looking like a restless king.
Most traders drown in charts and still miss the real levels. Get clear daily roadmaps for the S&P 500 futures. Levels, setups, and strategies that matter. Delivered straight to your inbox pre-market every morning. Subscribe now on Substack. Conquer the markets.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. Finally got all this rollover bullshit out of our system. So welcome back. Today was a super volatile day. It was nice. I was really happy about it. So, I've been talking about rollover and how volatile it is and how we have to be careful. And today proved exactly that. We actually had a pretty serious event. I don't say serious event, but we had a pretty serious shift in options positioning today, which we're going to talk about and we pointed out in the plan. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do this real quick. If you guys have not followed me thus far, please follow me at Ryan Bailey Edge across all the socials. So YouTube, Twitter, Substack, and even TradingView. I've got a whole suite of new indicators out. So you guys are really like those. Make sure you follow along, check it out. Also, it'll be in the bottom of this post. If you have not signed up for the trade plans yet so far, check out the link in the post. You can get 30 days free. You just go to the landing page, put in your email address, and I take care of the rest. You'll have trade plans in your inbox the following morning. So definitely sign up for this stuff and follow me across all socials. We certainly want to get the word out. The trade plans are money, and so we want people to know all about it, right? So no sense to keeping them all to ourselves. The idea is to share the love. So definitely make sure you follow me across these socials. So again, we had rollover today. Again, we've had rollover all week, which is by far my most unpleasant time to trade. I usually try to take it extremely easy during rollover periods, just because the price action is unpredictable. There's two contracts playing at the same time. So you just really never know exactly what's going to happen. So, today I did it a little differently than yesterday. I actually had both contracts open, was able to keep an eye on both and kind of see what was cooking. And so let's get right into the trade plan. The trade plan was actually great this morning. And it was really interesting how, let me just throw this out there. And I talked about this during yesterday's post-market breakdown. The structure was completely different between between December and March's contract. So between the one that we were in and the one that we've just transferred to, it was night and day. As of this morning, we still had not lost daily support truly on the ES contract for March, whereas we had lost it a couple of days ago on December contract. Obviously, pivoting to SPX and using that as our guide, like we talked about, was a huge benefit because it certainly gave us some ideas that, we're still losing support. We could potentially come lower. And that's exactly what we talked about. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. I'll show you guys what's cooking. You ready? All right. So first and foremost, here is, let's just start with this because this works. Here you go. What do you think about that? The rollover volatility and the 68.91 wall. Well, we had talked about this 68.91 yesterday, and we also talked about the 83 weekly, basically being as our main pivot to get above below. And if we couldn't, we would more than likely come down lower, right? So we knew that this structure was here. We had the 67.60 bounce, and of course we had the fragile rollover structure. So on the way down, I was looking at the new contract. I was still fairly leery about getting, taking longs for holding and really, hoping that they would, go the rest of the day, knowing what the old contract was doing, knowing what SPX was doing. But based on March's contract, we were still looking up, which clearly has shifted today. But with that being said, there was a couple longs that we were looking for right out of the gate this morning. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So this was obviously the very, very first level to buy here, the 68.67 4-hour. You can see it right here. And basically, this was the 83 weekly that we talked about. Look how we kind of rolled off this. You'll get a better picture of it later here real soon. Actually, I think I have a better picture of it, actually. Maybe I didn't even save it. That's a shame. So let me go ahead and pull this up real quick because I think it's very important for us to go ahead and take a look at this first. That's a shame. I thought I had this. So here was the 83 right here that we talked about. This was first thing this morning, pre-market. We basically came up, we had popped all night long. We were up 23 points in the pre-market. We had rolled off at 83 and we came down. This green line was our 72, and this was the first long, as you can see. And if this plays, we want continuation back above 72, which is our gray line, which it ultimately did get. Now, this trade actually took 3 points worth of heat, which is a little bit more than I actually like, but it's about my tolerance level. But it did pay 13 points, so not a bad spot to buy. Our second spot to actually buy on the trade plan was the 68.46 1 hour. So we had the weekly point of control at 52. We had yesterday's point of control at 51, which are these purple levels here. And so I was really kind of looking for this area to get a little sticky, little hold. As you can see, this was the 46. Again, we bled through this 3 points, but ultimately came up and right back to the yesterday's value area high at 62. And it actually played for a total of 15 points if you bought at the exact level, which is a pretty nice score. So one of the things I want to show you here when we came down is you'll see they actually popped off of our major put wall at 42 that we put in all the GEX levels at the beginning of the trade plan. So it absolutely held it fantastic. And then if you recall, and one of the things that I pointed out, which we'll soon show you, we had our gamma flip level at 68.40. So it continued to move up. It was 100 points lower and it has continued to climb up. And this is the gamma flip level is always a very important level for us because dealers have to change positioning. When we are positive gamma, they are able to continue to keep buying. But as soon as they flip negative gamma, market makers have to push. They have to flip their positions to basically cover. So here was our big momentum shift level at 68.40. We had a gamma flip at 68.40. Below here, momentum shifts in the favor of the bears. Dealers flip short and puts immediate pressure on the downside. Well, I think we saw that for sure. This was the trade that I just showed you that popped. Here, I went over to a 1 hour. I was trying to get a clearer picture that wasn't filled with all kinds of crazy lines because my chart was just super messy. So you can see we played it, and then as soon as we broke underneath, we actually slid 60 points underneath this big gamma flip level, all the way down to our daily at 67.74. We got, within a point or so of hitting that. And so this was just a massive slide. And this is what I was talking about in the very beginning, that we had actually some options, a big shift today. And it was a big critical shift in terms of dealer positioning, because for those of you guys who are experienced with options in gamma, and those of you who aren't, let me just say this. The gamma level is huge. As soon as we basically get below this gamma level, we tend to get a lot of volatility and usually a downside push. Now, we will continue to get larger amounts of volatility as long as we stay in a negative gamma regime. So it'll be interesting tomorrow to see where we open up to understand where we're at as far as dealer positioning is concerned. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what's happening here because the ES has pulled down significantly far. And ultimately, I was looking at the December contract and SPX, and that thing is really, really down there. So, it'll be interesting to see what the market makers are going to do for tomorrow and where they are going to put their line in the sand. So we talked about VIX right out of the rip today. We talked about that we had a new resistance at 1728. And this is where we opened up down here. Guys, I don't know how many times we have talked about this weekly being so pivotal at 1573. I mean, I've probably said it till I'm blue in the face at this point. Just an insane amount of times we've talked about it. And we really kind of bumped our head all week, last week and this week on the 1721. And we had a fresh untested daily. As you can see, they're coming into new support at 1574, which is right by our weekly at 1573. Monitor this for a reaction. Well, that was one of the very first things as we had opened here and we immediately started to push up, which told us right away that we might have some downside pressure. And of course we did. Not only that, but they ended up pushing back through our 1728 and we have closed above it now. So we have closed above this. We are going to use this again tomorrow to understand where we're at above or below. But this was a big deal, guys. We have struggled to get above this on VIX. We have continued to basically, keep the upside going in S&P. And then, this is what we get. So I do want to show you guys something, and this kind of gets out of the way of the trade plan and what we're talking today. But if you recall, and I think this was Monday, or maybe it was last week. I don't know. I think I talked about it yesterday a little bit as well. I'm going to go ahead and pull this over. And again, this is a little out of context, but hopefully most of you guys understand what this means, right? So this was one of the first things that I showed you guys, and I kept saying, listen, this is typical distribution pattern. Right? They go sideways, they pop new highs, they make new lows. This is, I believe it was Monday I had this conversation with you guys because we had popped a new high and we popped a new low and we were still basing sideways. I'm like, this is typical distribution behavior. So the longer we base sideways, the bigger the down move. Well, we based sideways for almost 3 weeks here, guys. And so our down move was pretty critical. Now, this picture wasn't taken at the end of the day. This picture was taken midday. I think we're all the way down here now. Let's see, 76. Where'd we come to? Oh, pretty close. We came about right here. But this was a dead giveaway for us. And so there is a possible chance that we do have some more down tomorrow. This is just a monster. And so it'll be interesting to see where we open. We actually have some support about 20 points below our current location. So we'll get into that shortly. But I just wanted to show you that massive distribution pattern there. So here was something that was really great. As you guys know, I talk about the 80% rule till I'm blue in the face. And so we actually had the 80% rule fire again today. As we bumped our head on the 83 and came down, we came back in yesterday's value area. And we spent 2 or more periods. And if you guys don't have, if you're a Substack subscriber and you don't have this indicator for TradingView, I made this specifically for you guys. This is from my Sierra Charts platform, but I will show you what it looks like on TradingView. This trade saved my bacon today. So, this was an amazing trade. We came down here and as soon as it hit, I got short. And as you can see, 57 to 35. I mean, that is a monster trade here. Again, another 20-pointer. Easy does it. And we actually went much, much further than that. As you know, since we are at 67.80s, we came lower than we can actually see in this chart here. So just to kind of show you guys what I was doing here, this was me. You can see as soon as it fired at 57, I was actually a little late. I got in at 54. Actually, this is my second time entering. The first time I got taken out on my runners at BE. I got back in. And then I was able to actually take this all the way down to 37. You can see my target down here that actually worked out pretty well. So, this is a huge trade that if you're not watching the market profile, here it is, 57 to 35. This is just an incredible, incredible trade, guys. If you have not and studied this trade, definitely check it out. In my Substack, I did a whole thing on it. It's underneath inside the mind of a pro trader. This trade has worked out. I don't know. This has probably happened maybe 7 or 8 times over the past 3 weeks. And so far, it's worked every freaking time. They say it works 80% of the time. I'm waiting for the loser. I haven't had it yet. So this thing has just been really, really good. And then as you can see today in ES, this is what it would look like for TradingView. We came in here, we stayed underneath yesterday's value area high. This is the point of control. It triggered and then obviously hit the target. So this is what it looks like for TradingView. And again, this was on the ES and it just worked phenomenal. So good stuff all around. So hopefully you guys made that work for you today. And if not, I know a lot of people in the room saw that indicator go off, which was super cool. So that made me very happy that everybody was able to make that work. Hang on one second. Looks like my night light just came on. This thing thinks I always want to go to bed at 5:30. It's probably because it gets dark as hell at 6 o'clock now here in Indiana. Man, it gets pitch black at 6. It's unbelievable. So, all right. So let's go ahead and so that really covers the day. We've talked about the 2 longs that we were able to get on. We talked about the 80% rule short, and we've also talked about the negative gamma, flip, and VIX. So again, I would continue to look for a little bit more downside tomorrow. And this is one of the things that we talked about in the plan today, which worked out really well for us. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Let me just try to get away from all this mess here. All right. So yesterday, I mean, I got to tell you, this is looking rough. This is the first time I've looked at it since the close. I actually took the last hour off. So this is SPX, guys, and I kind of, blew it up a little bit. Here, let me just pull this up. So this is our big major weekly structure here, which we just closed below. This looks terrible. Actually, the more I look at it, I need to continue to chart a little bit more. So this is with the 6760 that we played, brought us all the way up yesterday. It was a huge trade. It actually played for, 50 points in the RTH session. And then we were up another 25 points, in the after hours. Boy, I got the little hiccups. Pardon me. Yeah, some coffee here. So anyways, one of my fears today was I was telling people in the plan and in the room, I said, hey guys, listen, I'm using SPX as a guide here because of the rollover, but we very well could come down into 67.33. This is a major weekly. It is just so freaking important for us. It was just as important as the 67.60, and they really need to hold this, otherwise shit gets real, right? And so guess what? Shit got super real, and it's going to continue to get real because this close was pretty freaking gnarly now that I look at it. So right now we are looking pretty bad, honestly. And what's interesting is let's kind of just go over here. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. So from the way I actually chart, right, the way that I look at this was essentially the top of our leg here. This is, let's see what we got here. I forgot to mark that guy. So we are coming into our last little bit of weekly support right here. We need to hold 67.15 in order to keep this together. Otherwise, if we get a weekly close underneath here, it could be really, really bad. We could come down and we could potentially make new lows. So we'll see what happens. But this daily close underneath our leg down, in my opinion, is extremely bad. That's just bad. It's really bad. We worked a hell of a long time to actually gain this leg. And when we did, we were able to come all the way up to the highs. And I anticipated on this potentially holding. This was actually the daily that got a lot of love yesterday on ES on the December contract. This is the one that played for, I guess it would play 50, 67, almost 80 points in the overnight. And obviously on SPX, it just said, fuck you, doesn't even care. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I've got some other supports here that I can draw out, and I will do so. But all I know right now, just by looking at this chart, that the daily close underneath 67, 37, 93 was brutal. That's a bad one. So we'll keep an eye on VIX. Surprising that VIX isn't reacted more. We have based out down here at VIX, and you guys, we have talked about this $15 handle so many times on VIX. I mean, we've talked about it till we're blue in the face. Every time we get down here, we get a pop. And again, we came down close to our big weekly that we've kept an eye on for so long because we get another pop. Our next resistance is up here at 1952 is our untested, but our big next pivot is actually 1860. And if this wants to keep going, we could come all the way into 2241. So we'll see how that plays out. but that is the way it's looking right now for the S&P. I mean, I could pull over. Actually, you know what? I will pull this over. So check this out. So this is the ES, and you'll have to pardon my chart. You know, I try to clean this up for you guys, but this is a little bit on the fly. So yesterday, the December contract played this top down at 65. This was the 67, 61, and 65 area that played yesterday that took us up for the 80 points. Well, guess what? Now we're in a different contract, right? So will this level play again? I don't know, right? What I do know is on this contract, it's still very much untested. But you know what's interesting is exactly what I showed you. So for me, this is a monster daily right here, right? But we literally just showed you on trading on SPX that we just had a daily close below it. So this is nasty, right? So I'm going to just say this: the 67.15 has to hold just to be in confluence with our current daily right now for our March contract. Otherwise, this thing's toasty. And we've talked about 1,000 times how the whole world was being held up by 68.05, right? We had played the structure. I think anybody who's been trading with me knows that we've probably played 68.05. I don't even know how many times, maybe a dozen, I feel like. I mean, it's been tested so many freaking times, just unbelievable. So now that we're below it, we have a serious issue. And this is going to be our big pivot to get back above for a squeeze higher, as they have tested pretty much everything on the way down. And so if we do catch a bid, we will push up fairly quickly. But I have to be honest, and again, the SPX chart looked worse than this one. We need to hold 67.65. It needs to happen. Let me go ahead and just see where my weeklies are at down here. Okay, so we had this weekly at 88, which we kind of, we're sitting above it. But again, you'll see we have another weekly at 61, 68, and the daily at 65. This has got to hold, people. Otherwise, we are not going to have a very Merry Christmas in the S&P 500. Okay, so that is the deal with that. What's up, Jason? Blackline, what's up, player? Good to see you. Okay, nice to see you, buddy. That's what's up. I'm glad you made it. So that's what's up with the ES. I'm going to stop there. We got 8 minutes. I wanted to get into, I'm getting a lot of comments coming out of left field right now about the weed stocks. People are like, hey, what's the deal? Is Trump going to do this executive order? Man, I don't know. Listen, how would I know? I have no idea, right? What I do know is I haven't taken any profits yet. Okay, so let's just go ahead and talk about this. I actually told you guys yesterday, my first target was 67.50. We pulled up and we got so close. We got 67.30 or 67.40. I missed my first tee by 10 cents, which is a little bit of a bummer. I guess I should have been a little bit more conservative and, brought it down a hair. But, here we go. And I still truly think long term, I still think we're coming to at least $9. So I thought the 750 was a conservative target personally, but I have not taken a penny. I am still in from, I don't even know where it's at. I think I shut it down, but I think my average is about 386 or 368, excuse me, about right here. So I'm still balls deep, still holding this, still want higher. The other one that we got is Tilray. Tilray is actually, we had a massive pop on Tilray, but we are looking a little soft here on this pullback. But again, these are high time frame trades, guys. I mean, this, I didn't even expect this to go already. So I think we're really fortunate that this is launched, especially towards the end of the year. And for me, we're playing massive weekly and monthly levels, and these trades take time to play out, right? So I still haven't taken any money on Tilray. My first reduction is at $17. I'm in from like $18.20 or something like that. So I was trying to get 100%. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 100% return on all this. Take half off and then just moonbag the rest. It doesn't matter. At that point, it can go to zero. It doesn't matter. I don't lose anything. The idea is I bought enough where once I start piecing out of this stuff, I can start selling calls against it. That's what I was actually after, was to build a large enough position where that I can start selling calls against this stuff, because the price was right down here. 100 shares is $800. If it gets up here, now we're talking 2,400. So I really, that was my thought process in making this happen. So the last and final one that I'm in, and I know a lot of them actually went again today. This is CGC. It's just one of the more popular ones. And again, these things are down from ridiculous levels, as you can see. So am I being greedy? Maybe. I haven't taken anything on this either. I'm in from $1.21, $1.24, something like that. And my first trim, I just moved it down from 270 down to 250. That'll be a little bit over 100% on this one. And I'm loaded down on this as well because, again, like I told you, my plan is to basically piece off on some of these, major levels. And then when we start to base out a little bit, sell some calls against them. So, that is the deal with the weed stocks. And, I still think that this has a lot of potential. Now, am I going to get caught with my pants down and, get caught holding the bag? Maybe. I mean, these things are super volatile. This is like, since the moment of their inception, they have not done well. Right. So as we could tell from this chart here, I mean, since the moment they've come out, we were at, just call it $500 and they went down to $1, they have never had a break. And so, am I taking a major bet here? Yeah, it's a gamble. It really is. But I think it's a strategic gamble on a sector that has been beat down. And we finally have a president who is willing to basically make some changes for the good. And so, I put my eggs in this basket and we'll see what's up. And so I don't think being in from $1 and trying to get $2.50 or, $2.70 is a stretch. I think it's a strategic play. And I think if we're patient, I'm pretty sure we're going to get it. So, we'll see. I mean, again, you never know. I might get caught holding the bag, whatever it is, what it is. So that is my deal, guys. I've had 4 people already this afternoon hit me on the DMs and say, hey, what's up with MSOS? What are you doing with this? What is it looking like? Well, what it's looking like is I haven't taken any profits yet, and I got 15 cents away from my TP. And so I am hoping to get this here. And let me show you why I'm taking money here, guys. I'll just go ahead and show you. Let's go over to the monthly time frame here. I'm going to show you why. So this is the big high lost here. This is $9.44. I have a feeling we get an extremely strong reaction from here. Okay, extremely strong. But being over $5.53 is a huge marker for us. This was a big base. And then we got a massive rejection from it. We played it, and now we are above it. So as long as we stay above this, I have a very strong feeling we'll get to $9 and maybe even almost $12 before this is over with. Again, look how beautiful the process is. I have a weekly level here at 707. Obviously, this is RTH. It played perfectly to the tick, which immediately had me sweating. I'm like, oh my God, did I just screw up? Did I just mess it up and miss my reduction by 15 cents? This thing played absolutely perfect. Thankfully, it's up in the post market. I hope to get my target before the end of the week. And then once I can shed 50% of my weight and be up 100% on this, then I will feel so much better. And this is the same strategy that I use for crypto too. We find, stuff that we buy at the lows during crypto winter. First target's 100%, and then we just leave it and kind of let the rest go. So that's the spiel, guys. That's what's up. I'm actually thinking about doing some posts over the weekend. I was looking at gold and I was looking at silver and looking for some places to buy. We talked about Bitcoin yesterday and we talked about Ethereum. I'm obviously looking to buy new lows. We spoke about that. Bitcoin and Ethereum were a great lead indicator for us as usual. Once they topped out, the ES started to base sideways. And of course, they've been coming down. Bitcoin erased all its gains and Ethereum has done almost the same. And they did it again, of course, ahead of time in front of the indices. Because why? Because it's the biggest risk asset of them all. And so people take profits first or reduce their risk there. And then they come over to the indices because that's what makes more sense. So, just looking at Ethereum today, it was down over 6%. If the indices lost 6%, people would lose their freaking mind. And so that is why crypto sheds and bleeds much faster than the indices. Even though a 1% or a 2% down day in the ES feels like a nightmare scenario, it is peanuts compared to what crypto does. And so we watch crypto, or at least I do. I watch crypto. Actually not even crypto. I watch Bitcoin and really Ethereum, but mainly Bitcoin just as a lead and to kind of get a gauge on what the market's doing. And I'm not looking tick for tick, by the way, just to let you guys know. Like if Bitcoin's, dumping, I'm looking for the ES to do the same within the next day or so. And sometimes it's a much longer time period, but as long as I know there's weakness there, we need to be looking for weakness across the indices as well. It's just how it works because it has now become an institutional asset and the big players are there and they just go hand in hand. It's unfortunate because the whole purpose of it was to disconnect from the financial situation, but that is not the case anymore. So anyways, that's what I got for you today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. The plan was spot on again, and that gamma shift break was unbelievable today. That 60-point dump underneath the dealers when they had to switch their positioning, unbelievable. So stay tuned tomorrow. We'll talk more about gamma positioning and figure out where the dealers are at and what levels we need to play. I just showed you the levels on ES and SPX that absolutely have to hold. If they don't, it's not going to be a very Merry Christmas for stock investors. So we'll see. I was looking across tech. It looks terrible. I was looking at QQQ. Actually, let's look at QQQ real fast. Just 2 seconds. I showed some guys in the room this, and just unbelievable. And I wasn't watching this personally, and I saw it today because I don't really trade QQQ. I was just kind of looking at it. I don't trade in Q, but damn, I should have. I'll tell you that. So, for those of you guys who understand my process, for me, it's just like this. I love these high time frame levels, right? And so here we go. Check this out. Unfreaking believable. Here we go. Let me just go ahead and put on the weekly. We had this massive push up. This was our big weekly leg down. They played it perfectly. Oh, fucking perfect. Oh my God, it got fucking nuked. And so the crazy part about this is right now, looking at this, in my opinion, this could come all the way down to 590, if not new lows. We can come all the way down to here. Is it going to? I don't know. I need to really do some more research on this. I need to chart this later. But this looks super fucking bad. Like this looks really bad. Our first untested level is right here at 590, like I said, which is more than likely where we're headed. In my opinion, I should have been short. I wish I would have saw this a long time ago. So anyways, this would be the first spot look for a bounce, but we ultimately could come much, much lower on QQQ. So, I need to kind of go over the sectors and figure out what's cooking, and maybe we'll set up an option short. So keep an eye on the Substack. I will look into it this evening and see where a good place for us to maybe take a poke on some puts or what have you, and go from there. So again, we've talked a lot today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, again, if you haven't subscribed to the Substack, please check out the link in this post. 30 days free. If you've never signed up, just go to the landing page, put your email in. I'll take care of you. And again, sign up, subscribe, follow, and all that jazz to all my socials. Retweet the stuff, get the word out. There's a lot of good stuff here, and our Discord room is making crazy money. So if you are a Substack subscriber, definitely hit me up. Get in the Discord room. That's where it's going down at. We talk all day. I'm constantly giving my feedback and talking about the intraday updates and showing the positions that I take constantly. I'm very transparent. You guys can see exactly how I do it. It's not always right, but at least I'm honest and I put it out there. So again, thank you so much for showing up today. I really appreciate it. And I will see you the same time, same channel tomorrow. And I will see you in the morning for the trade plans. Be good, everybody, and have a great one. Cheers.